This is Steven.
Hey guys.
And I'm Mark. Glad you're here with us today. Got a thought for you. How would it feel to know that you're honoring God in many ways and didn't even know it?
I would love that.
Yeah. I mean, because we always read and we're always being told by people, you got to do this, you're dishonoring God if you do that, you're doing all this stuff. But there's so many things that you do that you don't even know you're doing that can honor God.
Oh.
And I would like to talk a little bit about that today. And we'll talk about the other side too. Things you're doing that you might not even know that may be dishonoring God too. But it's both good news and bad news. But before we go there, I'd like to share a few things. First of all, there's a big event coming up in St. Louis here. I believe it's in August. We don't have the date nailed down, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be live music. There's going to be a lot of education on biblical responsible investing, on all sorts of stewardship. There'll be all sorts of booths there for people to get materials, handouts, free stuff, and it's going to be great.
Oh.
But can't give you a date yet. But so you're going to have to be tuning in for that. Also, we'd like to share with you that if you have comments or questions, we'd like to hear from you. In fact, we have heard from some people.
Yeah, recently we actually heard from one of our viewers, and he gave us a couple suggestions to improve the show. I don't know if you want me to
go
mention.
ahead.
So one of our viewers, thankfully, he got a hold of us and asked us if we could do a little song and dance maybe before the show. Not song and dance.
Yeah, we're not going to sing.
But give a little bit of leeway time before we actually start in our content. That way people can, get the notifications on their phone, get to their computers so that they can see us ahead of time. So
right, because
we thank you
when we
so much
start,
for that.
it sends out the notification that we're starting. And if we just dig in, people don't have time to log on before we're already down the road a little bit and people are trying to catch up with the phone.
So thank you very much for the feedback.
And that's why we did what we just did today. Started off with a teaser and then a little announcement, and now we're going to dig in because it's been a few minutes into it. So we appreciate your feedback. Oh, by the way, we are looking for talent. We need people to help us. If you have some background in video production, social media production, we need help.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's us.
We need some tech nerds here, and we need them badly. So give us a call or come by or something. Anyway, today talking about honoring God. You can honor God even if you don't know it, and oftentimes, we've heard in the Bible that saying that don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Well, that's understandable because what God's saying is it is to do things not to receive them so that you don't take self-pride in them, but you do them for the right reason. So don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. That way, you just do them for the right reasons. Well, sometimes we do that. It's the highest form of expertise in effect. It becomes natural that you do things right. As a little child, we learn to speak properly to our parents and to others, because when we don't, we learn the hard way not to do it that way. But we also are encouraged by our parents and others how to be respectful. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Thank you. Please. Being silent and when you should be silent. Things like that. You know what? That honors your parents when you're doing that. Some of the proudest moments of my life with my kids are when my kids come back from somebody else's house, having stayed over or something, and the parent would say something like, I don't know how you do it, but you have the nicest kids possible. They're so respectful. Wow. And in my mind, I'm thinking, are you confusing my kids with somebody else? Because at home, they're a little bit different. But, that they took what they learned from their parents and applied it in reality was a way they honored me, and they didn't even know that.
Oh, wow.
We do the same thing when we honor God. We can honor God. Well, how often when's the last time you killed somebody?
In real life?
Yeah.
Never.
Thou shalt not kill.
No.
Guess what? That's honoring the God that you didn't do that.
Oh. I'll take it.
Yeah, and we can go on and on with those kind of things. When you show respect for others, when you love others more than yourselves, when you put others before yourselves, when you care for someone, when you help somebody financially, when you do something, and you're not even thinking about, oh, I'm going to honor God with this, and He's going to give me another star, and He's going to give me another heart. No, you don't let your left hand. You're just at that place in life because God has raised you up and trained you in the ways of the Lord, and some things just become natural, like honoring others in the sense of caring for, putting other people first, being respectful of others. In fact, one of the things that I went through in a training, and it was highest priorities type of thing, and the way they do that, it was the old tombstone. What would you like put on your tombstone?
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni, yeah. And what would you like it to read? And and the whole idea was to think it through. And for me, it was that he loved God, as was demonstrated in the way he honored his family, his friends, and his enemies. So the idea there would be that God has raised me up and continues to work on me and draw me near and teaches me how to do that, how to care for others before myself. And when it happens, I don't think about it as like, oh, I just honored somebody, I get another mark on the board,
Okay.
That's not it. So we unknowingly honor God. The same thing can be true in your finances.
So I don't just have to give to charity and always tithe in order to honor God?
No, you don't have to, but because God tells us it's important to do that, that would be honoring to God if you would listen to what he says.
Okay.
Stephen. No. Of course it would be good. If God says something, see, that's one way we honor. In fact, in one of the verses that I think you pulled up was dealing with honoring your father and your mother. What does that look like in real life? Well, we talked about how kids behaving when they're not around us is one way they do that, because they show that they've been raised well and they're listening to what their father and mother said. But another thing is, if your dad said, don't go into the street, and you don't go into the street, that you honored him. You showed respect to him. In fact, honor, there's a definition of it. One of the definitions is to do honor is to show respect to be a credit to. So you're a credit to your parents when you behave. You're a credit to God when you walk in his ways. His ways are love. So when you love others, when you love even your enemies, when you love your family, when you love God, when you put all these things first before yourself, you're honoring God. And you're doing it all the time without even thinking about it. A lot of it. Now, the opposite is true too. It's possible to be dishonoring God by the way we do things without even thinking about it.
That I believe.
For example, I remember there's a few things that I just do that I don't even think about, and they're selfish. And they put me first instead of others. And then over time, I've realized, oh my gosh, that's so rude. That's so disrespectful of my wife, my children, my God, my friend, the police officer. We won't go there. So there are things we can do if we're not conscious and aware. That's why one of the reasons I believe God calls us to consciousness, so we can be more honorable to him.
Now, one of the things that I want to point out with this, honoring and dishonoring without you even knowing it, a lot of these I would imagine would go against the social norm.
I'd like you to expand that a bit.
Oh, darn. Like honoring others, being polite and caring and loving in a situation that everyone else is perfectly fine with you not being that way. Say a waiter gets something wrong, you can choose to honor them by showing them respect and love that, everyone makes mistakes, or you can, put the hammer down, and because you're justified in yelling at that waiter for that reason.
I don't think you're ever justified for yelling
exactly.
at a waiter.
And then the other way around, I think that, it can go against the social norms to show dishonor sometimes when everyone else thinks that you should be fine with it. Watching movies that you shouldn't be watching because they're socially acceptable, or things of that nature.
Yeah, and that's so true. I believe that to be true. And that's kind of where we're heading here. The same applies with our finances, with investing, for example, or even what we spend our money on. Going to movies, you
Yeah.
know, are you going to X-rated movies? Are you going to R-rated movies? Are those bad? Does God tell us not to? Yeah, there's lots of verses that support not supporting pornography or foul language or bad behavior, not participating in it, not spending our time with it, that kind of thing, not allowing it into our brains. We're supposed to be not conforming to this world, but being transformed by the renewing of our minds with everything holy, not unholy.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things to say that. But when we do those things, it's like it's no big deal. I'm mature. I can handle language. I can handle that. We're disrespecting God. And you say, Mark, you're going out on a limb here. No. If not listening to your father tell you to not go in the street is disrespecting your father, not listening to your father in heaven warn you about the ugliness of the things you put through your eyes and your ears and your senses into your mind is disrespecting him. What you're saying is, yeah, God, you said that, but I'm smarter than you. That's disrespectful. Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So, and the same thing's true with our finances. You know, God says a lot. He says more in the Bible about finances than he does about heaven or hell,
yeah.
about salvation. Think about that. And so if he gives us all these warnings, like the biggest issue, and this, you know, we're probably going to see all these shutters close here. The biggest issue in finances is debt. God warns us about that. There is nowhere in the Bible where God says it's good to go into debt or encourages anybody to go into debt. He does say it is a blessing to be a lender to many nations. That means that you're not in debt, by the way. But it doesn't say that, and he says it's a curse to be a borrower. So there's so many negatives on it. When we don't listen to these warnings, he's warning us not to play in the street because we might get hit by a car. We might not also, but God's saying it's stupid to play in the street. That's what he's doing. He's warning us, and when we say, yeah, I got this, God, wow, you know, talk to the hand, Lord. You know,
Yep.
that's what effectively we're doing. Is that disrespectful? Of course it is. And so we need to grow in our respect consciously so that we can get to a point to where our natural reaction in money and possessions and just stewardship in general, it becomes natural to honor God in all we do and unnatural not to, so that we walk in works without even knowing it because it becomes natural. And so investing, same thing. I've had many discussions with people about investing in companies that harm others through pornography, abortion, through addictive products, and you know, the companies are either profiting from or endorsing these activities in the way they use the profits to give to organizations and or advertise or do those kind of things. So they're promoting or profiting from these things. If God says we're not to hang with these type of people, which he does say in his Bible, I don't think that's the exact quote.
No.
I think it says that we're not supposed to hang with them. Is pretty much what it says. I'll look it up and give you the verse. But God warns us about the company we keep, and that we're not to keep company with people who do these ugly things to other people. He doesn't say that we can't witness to them, share with them, love on them, but we shouldn't be keeping company with them.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So we should not be participating with them. There's another verse that says, don't lay hands on someone too quickly lest you participate in their sins. You know, we have to be careful about these things. Well, God's saying these things, and if he says don't play in the street, don't hang with these people, don't participate with these things, and we do it, we've disrespected God. We've dishonored God. His honor is not broken because he deserves all honor and praise and worship, but we've disrespected him. We haven't honored him. We haven't shown the honor of the all-knowing, all-perfect, all-loving wisdom of God in our finances. See, my prayer, my hope for you, me, and everyone is that even within our money, not just every other aspect of our life, that we would get to a point that we don't even think about honoring God in these things, that it is done naturally because God has drawn us so close and our love for him is so great, and we've disciplined and practiced the way we should live and the way we should act and the way we should invest and the way we should spend and the way we should care for others, that it just comes naturally, and we walk in this bubble of God's peace and joy, honoring Him without even thinking about it.
You know,
Without even knowing it.
To kind of roll back to what you were saying about the like the debt thing. I've been in debt before many times.
Yeah.
Many times. So why is it even say secularly, when you get out of debt, they call that freedom, because that's the freedom that God gives you in the first place, to not put yourself down. And when we get out of that, or even say I was in debt right now, if I'm working my way out of that, knowing that when I get out, it's going to fully honor God, that I can get out of something that pushes me down, weighs me down, keeps me from being able to, I guess, honor God more with my finances.
Because it takes mind space, it takes
Yeah.
wallet space, it takes physical space in your life, and it causes emotional stress. It does all sorts. God does it because He loves us. He warns us. We should honor and respect that.
Yeah.
We should. And by the way, I don't want you to be going, oh gosh, there's so much I need to do. Don't beat yourself up.
No.
God's there. He's a God of love and patience and joy and forgiveness. He died 2,000 years ago on the cross to pay for our sins. Oh, let's put it a different way. He 2,000 years ago, He paid the price for our lack of honoring Him. And in doing so, it makes it easy now for us to relax and start enjoying honoring Him and letting Him fill us with all His righteousness and fill us with all His power to do what's right in the eyes of the Lord, even in our finances.
So let me ask, for anyone watching, how can we help? Like, how can we help anyone watching honor God?
That's great. When it comes to just all sorts of stewardship, remember we have the different areas of stewardship that we talk about, from how we acquire wealth or money, how we spend it, how we give
save it and give it. Yeah.
give it and invest it. If there's ever a topic, anything like this, if you have a question like, God, how can I do better with this? How can I get out of debt? How can I invest without compromising biblical integrity? How do I manage my money in a way that honors Him? If you have any of these questions, you can call us, you can email us, you can text us, you can tweet us, however you want to do it, and we will help you. We will help you to understand those things. You can go out to places like integrityinvestors.com and have your portfolio screened for free. The More Than Money website's going to be up very soon again. And on there, you'll be able to submit your questions, your concepts there. You'll be able to sign up for some free courses on debt slaying, on all sorts of things, learning on giving, and we love giving books away. Anybody who ever asked me, Mark, I'd really like to explore more on giving, because I just don't feel like I'm giving enough. I feel like I want to do more, but at the same time, I'm not sure. There's so many different conversations. We give books away on that by Randy Alcorn and others. And so our goal at More Than Money is to bring you all the materials to be able to serve you by helping you realize the fullness of Christ even in your finances.
Yeah, so like Mark said, if you want to get a hold of us, you can call us 314-212-1405, I believe. You can email us at contact@mtmministry.com. Obviously, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, you can get us just about everywhere. Check out our YouTube channel as well.
Please do.
So you can get a hold of us, and if you know us personally, give us a text.
Yeah,
we'd be more than happy to talk to you.
Get a hold of us and then tell your friends.
Yeah, please.
Let's make this a movement of honoring God. Because when we honor God, then we know deep in our heart that life is
so much more
than money.
All right.
God bless everyone.
Thank you, guys.